she wanted somebody that she wasn't going to have to debate on air. She wanted somebody who wasn't going to push back when she said some crazy shit. And I think she thought that John Iadarola would push back too much.
What's going on, you guys? Today we have the Vanguard calling out TYT. The Young Turks appears to be falling apart. Who knows what's actually going on? The story that TYT is saying that Cenk is on a trip. The Vanguard investigates. Let's get into it.
Remainder of the next 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. I'm here. I'm happy. Thank you for having me back, guys.
It's good to have you. I should note, for those who don't know, Cenk is off to Europe for 2 weeks. He's going to be doing conferences and speeches and whatever. So I will be hosting without him. But the upside to that is that Woz will be filling in for him in the second hour. So that's freaking awesome. And I'm really excited about that. I do want to read a few.
Ooh. Yeah, so interesting. I mean, no offense to Woz, he seems like a nice guy, but it is kind of weird for him to be filling in for Cenk for that long, and that is one of the reasons why it seems unplanned, at least to me, or not properly planned, or maybe there's just not a lot of talent left at TYT, so they have to go with a guy like that to fill in for Cenk. Again, I'm not trying to be mean to Woz. He seems like a really nice guy. I'd happily grab a beer with him, but I just mean, like, as far as his profile, he doesn't have that much name recognition in the space. It seems kind of weird that he'd be filling in for almost 2 weeks of broadcast time, specifically during this real rough patch that TYT is going through. I mean, I think it's fair to say they're going through a real transitionary period, a period of change, if you want to put it charitably, a total crash and burnout, if you want to not put it charitably. Cenk should be here. He should be holding down the ship, steering the wheel on board the SS Young Turks. It is kind of bizarre timing.
Yeah, here's my read on it. And obviously, this is my first time reacting to this, but I had time to think about why the fuck that guy would go to Europe. I think the reality is that he knows TYT is crashing and burning, dude. So there's two things that he's trying to do. He's trying to either develop a foreign audience because he's completely failed at having a domestic one, or he's looking for funding for the Young Turks out there as a result of the message that he has. He's basically going out there and panhandling, I would imagine, for advertisements, for contributions,
foreign
money.
Foreign money?
Oh, yeah, 100%. All over the
And the Vanguard here is saying that Cenk Uygur may be looking for a more international audience, that, he may be completely abandoning the left, the American left for sure, and may find different, politics somewhere else that Cenk Uygur might find more interesting,
Fucking your EU. And I guarantee you he's going to be making negotiations and trying to plead for these people to finance TYT because it's unfinanceable at this point. Guys, the amount of revenue that it takes to sustain any kind of studio operation is insane. You have to be running on such a bare bones team, and you have to be so financially smart with how you're planning everything. I mean, it is very difficult, right? And when he says he has 75 employees, we know that's a lie. Even if he has a dozen employees, guys, think about paying a dozen employees in Los Angeles, California in the year 2025. Okay, let's say they were all paid like dog shit and the average salary is like 60 grand. And I'm not saying that's dog shit. I'm just saying that's about the fucking bottom of the barrel for being an on-present media person. That's about that's the more money than I've ever made in my life. I guess I should clarify. But what I'm saying is, like, let's not imagine any lofty salaries for anyone. When you get into media, a lot of times people demand very high salaries. So let's just assume that that's off the table for anyone. Is, I guess, a less clumsy and less rude way of saying that. You know what I mean? That's still, $700,000 at the end of the year. You know what I mean? That's still a lot of money just right there. So how is the Young Turks generating more than $700,000? I'll tell you, the Vanguard would never sniff $700,000. We wouldn't even sniff generating $350,000. That would be absolutely insane if we started generating that much money. We wouldn't know what the fuck to do with that much money, right?
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, so I think they're thinking, I think the ship is going down. And your comment about Woz, I think there's a very key reason why they went with that guy. I liked Woz a lot when he was on the Michael Brooks show, and I haven't paid any attention to what he's doing, unfortunately, since then. But I will say the one or two times that I've noticed he's crept up on my feed, he was 100% siding with Ana Kasparian in some Twitter beef. He was 100% there to be like, the left is crazy for being mean to Ana Kasparian. Why can't the left just be nice to Ana Kasparian? Like, oh my goodness. You know, and there are people that I like who, for the most part, I still think give.
And at this point, it's not if Cenk Uygur is selling out, but how much is he selling out? We already know that he's sold out, you know, the so-called homo progressives. He has completely sold out to Peter Thiel. But how much does he want to sell out? We know that Cenk Uygur only cares about himself, and that he's not going to let anyone get in the way of that, not even the Vanguard.
Give way too much slack to Ana Kasparian. So I'm not judging, you know, Woz. He's definitely taken like a David Griscom approach to like really like, you know, trying to guide Anna back to reality very gently, right? And I think there's probably a place for that for people who know her personally and really want to win her back and have a lot of good fond memories as a friend. I'm not judging anybody for that, but I would say that in my professional media criticism view, she wanted somebody that she wasn't going to have to debate on air. She wanted somebody who wasn't going to push back when she said some crazy shit. And I think she thought that John Iadarola would push back too much. I think she thought that even Jordan Ewell would push back too much. And she sure shit wasn't going to have Francesca come back to do the stand-in. So I think it just left her with somebody that was going to nod along and agree. And it was also still somebody that the TYT audience was familiar with. If you're a long time TYT listener, you probably know Woz. He's popped up at some point or another.
Oh yeah, and like I said, I have nothing against him.
Sure.
Seems like a nice guy. But yeah, out of everyone that's associated with TYT, John Iadarola, Jordan Ewell, he's definitely, you know, not one of the bigger names necessarily, right? He's definitely someone that has less name recognition in the political space. I don't even know if he has his own show, to be honest. Again, no disrespect to the guy, but it doesn't seem like you know, he's the logical choice to be a Cenk replacement, a fill-in host for that long. But as you said, Zach, he has now several points defended and are kind of downplayed, minimized what's been going on at the network. So I think there's a pretty clear line that can be drawn between that and him getting increased you know, opportunities at the network, and also, you know, looking at what's happened to someone like Francesca Fiorentini, who, despite, you know, being a loyal member of the TYT family for years and years, now is essentially persona non grata on the network because she's willing to push back, because she's willing to be honest and tell it like she sees it, which is something they claim to care about on the Young Turks. Oh yeah, we want our hosts to be honest and we welcome disagreement. How many times have you heard that?
And the Vanguard's being polite here, but at the end of the day, if Ana Kasparian was saying anything that she normally says, any of the usual speaking points, in front of someone like Francesca Fiorentini, in front of someone like Emma Vigeland, we all know what would happen. You know, Ana Kasparian, she's having to find someone who won't you know, combat and won't confront her on her own, you know, misconceptions.
That from Cenk. We don't stifle debate. We don't stifle disagreement here at the Young Turks. No, we promote it. We do it on the main show all the time. Bullshit. No, that's not true at all. And it would make for way better TV if they did. You know, I would watch the Young Turks with, you know, way more intently, not just because I had to, right? If they actually had these sort of debates and discussions and tensions explored on air, because that's what's entertaining, right? That's what makes political commentary good. You know, when you're actually having those kind of good conversations, right? So it's really unfortunate, but yeah, I think it's really bizarre timing for Cenk. Like I said, it's undeniable that TYT is in a weird spot right now. They don't have a lot of defenders, if any. It seems like their loyal audience has completely abandoned them at this point. Cenk, like I said, he needs to be there as the captain of the ship to hold it down and to set the tone as we continue into the Trump administration, right? This just seems like a weird time to dip. Seems like a weird time to go to Europe for 2 weeks. So I agree. It's either to try to grovel for money, maybe try to, you know, get some financial connections to make his new pack a reality. Who knows? But it's also possible that he's just kind of giving up on the Young Turks, Zach. And, you know, we've heard from behind the scenes that the situation is bad there. You know, it's really dire. So, you know, maybe he's just like, fuck it. I'm done trying to save this. I'm out of here. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
So there we have it, you guys. We have the Vanguard calling out Cenk Uygur, seeing that he maybe they're predicting the future. Maybe the Vanguard's predicting the future. Maybe Cenk Uygur is going to be leaving soon. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, though. It's another day in the progressive way.